Greetings to all. Welcome to CEC lecture. The topic of analysis is World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. In the CEC lecture under Pratikatmak Abhivyakti series, with me is Madam Manisha Sharma ji. The topic for the lecture is World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. In this lecture, we shall discuss the aims, objectives and functions of International Telecommunication Union. This lecture shall also discuss the historical context with reference to observance of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. John Naisbitt said, and we quote, "Intuition becomes increasingly valuable in the new information society precisely because there is so much data." As we talk about World Telecommunications and Information Society Day, taking cue from the words of John Naisbitt, that is, intuition becomes increasingly valuable in the new information society because there's precisely so much data. With that, let's begin the discussion. And the first concept that we'll try to decode is, let's understand what do we mean by telecommunications. Now, when we go by popular Google search, telecommunications implies exchange of information over significant distances by electronic means, and this refers to all types of voice, data and video transmission. Collins Dictionary defines telecommunications as it is the technology of sending signals and messages over long distances using electronic equipments. With this, we come to the second aspect, that is information society. What do we mean by information society? That is society wherein creation, distribution and use of information is significant. In mass communications, when we try to understand information society, in mass communication there is a free flow of two-way communication between governments and their people and amongst the people themselves. With ideas, knowledge, data, communication, today information society is very important, and the concept of information society is very useful to understand the decisions of individuals, firms and governments. We all know technology has changed the world. The world is connected today despite being geographically distant. And the important reason for that can definitely be attributed that how things can connect to each other at any time using the technology. So times have changed. The world is different today. And an important reason for that is because of evolving technology. So information society, when we try to understand data, technology, information are all significant aspects. The World Telecommunication and Information Society Day is observed every year on 17th May. This day attempts to raise awareness of the possibilities that the uses of the internet and other information and communication technologies can bring to societies and economies. This day attempts to deliberate on ways to bridge the digital divide. Now, what is the significance with reference to 17th May? And for that, let's try to go towards the historical aspect. 17th May also marks the anniversary of the signing of first International Telegraph Convention. This day was significant for the creation of International Telecommunication Union. The World Telecommunication Day has been celebrated annually on 17th May since 1969, marking the founding of ITU, that is International Telecommunication Union, and the signing of the first International Telegraph Convention in 1865. It was instituted by the Plenipotentiary Conference in Malaga, Torremolinos in 1973. World Information Society Day, we have to understand again the historical aspect that in November 2005, the World Summit on Information Society called upon the UN General Assembly to declare 17th May as World Information Society Day to focus on the importance of information communication technology and the wide range of issues related to information society raised by the World Summit on Information Society. The General Assembly then adopted a resolution in March 2006 stipulating that World Information Society Day shall be celebrated every year on 17th May. With that, let's talk about International Telecommunication Union. ITU, as it is popularly called as, it is an agency of United Nations whose main purpose is to coordinate telecommunication operations and services throughout the world. Originally founded in 1865 as the International Telegraph Union, the International Telecommunication Union ITU, it is the oldest existing international organization. ITU headquarters are in Geneva, Switzerland. Now, when we try to understand the functioning of International Telecommunication Union, the International Telecommunication Union consists of three sectors, and these three sectors throw some light on the important functions ITU performs. Let us understand what are these three sectors. As pointed out, ITU consists of three sectors. Radio communication, that is ITUR, it ensures optimal, fair and rational use of the radio frequency spectrum. Telecommunication standardization, ITU-T, it formulates recommendations for standardizing telecommunication operations worldwide. Telecommunication development, ITU-T, it assists countries in developing and maintaining internal communication operations. The ITU sets and publishes regulations and standards relevant to electronic communication and broadcasting techniques of all kinds, including radio, television, satellite, telephone, the internet. The International Telecommunication Union, as we talk about it, it is important to understand that for a century and a half, since 1865, the International Telecommunication Union has been at the center of advances in communication. Some examples to quote here: telegraphy, modern world of satellites, mobile phones, the internet, amongst others. The mission of International Telecommunication Union has been to achieve the best practical solutions for integrating new technologies as they develop and to spread their benefits to all. With that, let's try to go towards certain important facts from history. The first International Telegraph Conference took place in Paris, 1865. Now, the end of 18th century, Claude Sharp inaugurated a network of visual semaphore stations across France. And then one also sees that later with time, there also comes the electrical revolution. In United States, and another important fact, Samuel Morse used the new Morse code to send his first telegraph message in 1844. And one also finds that with these developments, the first convention of International Telegraph Union was signed in 1865. Following the patenting of telephone in 1876 and subsequent expansion of telephony, International Telecommunication Union decided in 1885 to add regulations. ITU, at this are the International Telegraph Union decided in 1885 to add regulations for the international telephone service to telegraph regulations. These regulations were subsequently expanded in 1903 London Telegraph Conference and eventually became a separate set of regulations, the Telegraph Regulations at the 1932 Madrid Telegraph Conference. Important to also note here a very interesting fact that Marconi is also known as the father of radio. Marconi was an Italian inventor that proved that communicating through radio wave was possible. In 1865, he sent and received the first radio signal communication. Another important fact that we just quoted, let's understand that developed in 1830s and 1840s by Samuel Morse and other inventors, the telegraph revolutionized long distance communication. It worked by transmitting electrical signals over a wire laid between stations. So what we see here is that with gradual development in telecommunications, advent of radio, telegraph, there was a need to coordinate the regulations. There was a need to coordinate the right balance between different set of regulations. At 1988, World Administrative Telegraph and Telephone Conference in Melbourne, the telegraph and telephone regulations were merged into a set of regulations, that is the International Telecommunication Regulations. So, seen from this historical perspective, it becomes important to recall and recollect and reiterate that World Telecommunication Day celebrated every year on May 17 since 1969. This marks the founding of the International Telecommunication Union on 17th May 1865. The second day merged into this day, that was the World Information Society Day, was also celebrated on 17th May since its inception in 2006, and the purpose was to focus on importance of many issues in the areas of information and communication technologies. When we try to talk about World Information Society Day, the World Summit of the Information Society is important to understand. What was the World Summit of the Information Society? It was two-phase United Nations conference that defined the issues, policies and frameworks to tackle the information and communication technologies to foster development. Further, the first phase of the summit was held in Geneva in 2003 and concluded with a declaration of principles and plan of action identifying specific action lines to advance the achievement of Millennium Development Goals. The second phase of the summit was held in Tunis in 2005. It reaffirmed commitment to the Declaration of Principles and designed and implementation mechanisms for the 11 action lines. The World Summit of the Information Society is very important because we all have to understand that the need to build an inclusive, people-centric, development-oriented information society is of huge importance for every nation. It is also an important agenda for global governance issues. So therefore, the occasion of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day reminds us of the importance of the two very important pillars that are responsible for taking the life ahead. Today, telecommunication and information society are important concepts for policy making, for academic research, global and national governance. Communication is an important way to take us forward towards success and prosperity. The World Telecommunication and Information Society Day reminds us of the significant role in the telecommunication and information society plays. This day also draws our attention towards the foundation of International Telecommunication Union, and we must look at the important roles it and functions it performs with reference to contemporary challenges. The second day that we just discussed, the World Information Society Day, today as we all know, data, information, internet, telecommunication, communication advancements, technological advancements are very significant for policy making in a transnational and interdisciplinary perspective also. So therefore, with this day, let's amplify the support, the awareness for world telecommunication. Let us all get together to understand the benefits of information society. We hope that the lecture on World Telecommunication and Information Society Day presented to you significant inputs and insights. We look forward to positive, encouraging feedback from you all. Thank you very much.